Merry Christmas all you Zuk Junkies. And in today's video, we're gonna be doing a product review of something I think y'all are gonna find really useful. Well y'all, I was approached by a company called NAO, and they sell some products on Amazon that fit the off-road market. Majority of their products, or I guess about all of their products, are off-road lighting. So they have a couple of different lights, pod lights, little 7-inch long flood slash spotlights, and that's actually what they've sent me to show you guys. The product from the picture, it looks pretty good. They have a little video showing all the different stuff they do, like putting them in water, splashing them in mud, freezing them in a block of ice. They still work, which is really interesting. The nice thing about them though is the price point. The product that I'm gonna be showing y'all is two 7-inch long LED light bars with a single mounting location, dead center. I believe they slide. We'll check that out here in a minute. But they're priced at $37. I'd actually just recently gone to Harbor Freight and saw that they started carrying off-road lights. They sell one little bitty pod for around $37. This is two 7-inch long little light bars that they look really good, and based off their little video, if all that's true, that's gonna be really good for, you know, doing the Suzuki Samurai or any sort of little off-road project that you have if you want lighting, because let's face it, stock, the headlights aren't very good. And, you know, lighting can be a challenge to sort out. There are some companies like Rigid, which is something that I have on my Samurai and on my normal daily driven Toyota Tundra, that's really expensive, that I've already seen some telltale signs that's pretty common for all off-road lights. So let's open her up and let's get a look at them. So right off the bat, they come packaged pretty normally from Amazon. They actually have like the fast and free option, or the Amazon Prime. I guess they're stocked in the Amazon warehouses, so they ship really quickly. I got this in like 2 days or a day. And there seems to be a little bit of movement in there, but they're off-road lights, you know, if they're meant to take a beating, I don't think that's gonna be a problem. But let's go ahead and open her up and see what we got. Oh, the conundrum, a box in a box. 7-inch LED light bar, 2-piece, 240 watt off-road driving lights, LED pod, spot, flood, combo, beam fog light, waterproof LED light. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Oh, we got a little bag of hardware and brackets. And then we have the light bars. Well, there's some little nuts in there. I guess that's what this mounts to. They're pretty nice. Right out of the box. So they don't come with any connectors, but that's kind of common among cheaper LED lights. They do come tinned though, which is a nice little feature that kind of helps protect against corrosion. You don't have these bare wires, they're tinned. That just means that they put some solder on the end of the bare wires. Pretty common practice. But putting a connector is not really a big deal, depending on how you want to wire it. If you want to extend it, if you want to put a Deutsch Tech connector on there, whatever. Let's get into the brackets. Alright y'all, so this company approached me and asked me to review their product. They sent me the product for free. Of course, that's usually how it works. And they just asked me to go through it, and I told them, you know, flat out, like, I'm pretty honest about my reviews. I'm gonna, you know, tell them what I think failure points are gonna be, you know, what's good, what's not good. And so far from the kit, I'm actually pretty impressed, surprisingly. I thought for the price point they would skimp out. I've seen some of these, not like this big, but you know, half the size, like the little pods. And they usually come with some aluminum brackets that I have seen wear out because they're real small and they're real thin. These brackets are made out of aluminum, but they're pretty thick. So as long as you don't hammer down, tighten them down, you probably won't distort them too much and tear them up too much. There's kind of enough meat right here. The shape of them don't really look to be too difficult to reproduce out of a steel, you know? You kind of just have to make a curve or something out of some flat stock if these were to fail. That would kind of be my only concern, is that these are aluminum, but that's pretty standard on all kits. Now the screws that they come with that screw into, let me see if I can get that. You see those little nuts going around. So they come with these little flat washers for these little, what seems to be aluminum screws. And then the mounting hardware is actually stainless. It has a little bit of magnetic pull to it, but that's kind of nice that they included some stainless hardware for mounting. Oh, stainless is generally soft, so you don't want to go too crazy cranking down. You can distort the threads on these bolts really easily, actually. So, I mean, that's kind of just something that you got to deal with stainless in general. Got 4 small washers, have 4 of these little aluminum screws. You got 2 brackets, 2 lights, and they give you a little Allen key for tightening up these mounting bolts. So I can already tell by the way this is designed, this little slide's gonna go like this. It's gonna go underneath the light. The wire down will be the bottom of the light, orientation wise. And then you'll be able to rotate them down and up off this little piece. That's pretty nice. Instead of being like a fixed position. See if I can get this together. Let's see. Flat washer. Definitely gonna need to use a flat washer for this bracket. They seem a little small. These grooves are really big. You could probably use some slightly larger washers, but they are just lights. They hold pretty good. They have a little bit of up range, it seems like. The down range is, oh, it's about the same up and down. Give it a little snug up. And they have a little groove inside there for this mounting hardware to sit flush without interfering with the housing. Now the finish looks pretty standard. The end caps are plastic. Looks like it's got stainless hardware all the way around it. The majority of the housing is aluminum though, and it looks like it's powder coated. Now the only thing that I've ever seen happen with the housings of this is that this paint chips, and then the aluminum underneath oxidizes. It turns that white. But not knocking these lights, I've got a pair of rigid dually, what are they, floodlights, spot flood combos on my pickup truck. I have them on the Samurai too. That on the Tundra, they sit down in the fog light location, like the stock fog light location. Rigid made a little adapter to put it down there. Those are $250 lights. I mean, they're expensive. If you know off-road lights, Rigid is like the name. They're supposed to like lead the way with, you know, all this other little stuff and accessories, and you know, they have like backlighting of different colors. They have all the different models that they have in all different colors. right? They did the same thing. The outside powder coat finish has chipped off. Here, I'll just show y'all. See, as you can see, and I know my lights are upside down. There ain't nothing I can do about it now, but Rigid Industries, look at that. Down there on the bottom. Paint's chip, $250 spot lights. I think they're spot. I don't think they're spot and flood, I'm not sure. But it's happened to both of them. You know, they're down there on the ground. You've got rocks, you've got bugs, you're hitting them at like 75, 80 miles an hour. Yeah, it's gonna do damage to them. Over here on the Samurai, I have the exact same lights. Only thing I did, I actually bought these plastic covers when I bought the lights for the truck, but that adapter plate doesn't allow them to go on. See, they clip on to the side, inside. So I'm hoping that this will mitigate that chipping. I mean, this truck hasn't seen the road very much, especially on the highway, so it's not, you know, they're not as tore up. So, as you can see from the Toyota Tundra, $250 spot floodlights. The reason why I bought them originally was just because that company offered the ability to utilize the stock fog light location with some brighter fog lights, which I have a little single row LED light bar on that truck that's mounted in the grill. Those two spotlights outshine that light bar. I mean, both of them. So I bought them for the Samurai because I, you know, did Dr. Z's short stubby off-road bumper, and I wanted to do the flat plate ones that you mount with just screws and they're just kind of like straight in there and there's nothing else you can do with them. I wanted those though because my idea was to angle them straight forward so they'd project out, but I ended up putting them on, and because the Samurai is so narrow, they crossed over so much of each other and it didn't light any of the side up. So what I ended up doing was angling them out so that way I could get better, you know, with those aftermarket headlights, those LED 7-inch projectors, it shines far enough forward, so I angled those out to get the sides. So, you know, if you do something on a Samurai on the front, you might want to get something that gives you the ability to angle, you know, or, I mean, Jesus, these things are $37 for two. That's a lot cheaper than buying those 7-inch LED headlights. And we're actually going to test them out. What I'll do is I'll pigtail this one up with a Deutsch-Tech connector, and then I'll disconnect one of my dually lights. Or first what I'll do is I'll shine the dually light, the $250 light, inside the garage while the light's off so you can see how bright it is, and then we'll compare this one. So, you know, we'll compare a $250 light set to a $37 light set. We'll compare that to like top of the line. We'll see how the brightness compares. Keep in mind, this is my first time opening this. I don't know how they do. You guys are seeing this with me, so let's check it out. All right, so I'm gonna show y'all. Not really gonna do like a tutorial on how to do this. A lot of people probably don't have these type of connectors. I have them. Just because I really like Deutsch-Tech connectors. They're awesome. They are kinda, sorta specialty, though, I'm not gonna lie. You have to have particular type of crimping tools. But they are phenomenal, they're waterproof, all that good stuff. Only thing that stinks is whenever these, oh, see, I need to strip that back a little bit. When these come pre-tinned, you kinda, sometimes if they're not tinned perfectly, you have to fight them a little bit, which isn't really a big deal. It's solder, it's actually really bendable. But these are like actually the appropriate length, already slit back. And we have a 2-wire. You need to see what kind of plug it has. Like this. Yeah, I didn't have this for the longest time, and I was trying to solder these in. These are not supposed to be soldered in, they crimp. Oh God, it was hard to do when the truck was upside down, or like not when the truck was upside down. When you're upside down and you're like under the truck trying to like solder up against the body, this is so much better. This tool is actually relatively inexpensive. If you want to do like standard connections, like factory style connections, you use something like this. I don't know if you can get them cheaper online, but my source for buying like my Deutsch Tech connectors and stuff, this tool alone, this crimping style tool, is like $100. I was like, oh my God. But it's like the proper way to actually do it. So, and I do a fair bit of wiring. If you don't do a lot of wiring, is it really worth it? Should you invest the money? Well, you know, you have to make that call. The pins are inside there. Now I have to put the wedge in there. There's actually, gotta use needle nose pliers for. There you go. Now that wedge is locked in. Those pins, now that wedge is in there, you don't have to worry about the pins coming undone whenever you stick it in. And I'll actually do a video on the proper way to wire this stuff up. I'm actually going to use these on the budget build. It's just fitting their price, the style. I was originally gonna do a light bar with light pods on it. I still might do the light bar because it just seems more functional to put it on that, or I might put it on the tin top, I don't know yet. But these I feel like would be a really good representation of budget for the budget build. But then I will show y'all the relay harness I use. I could show y'all how to make your own relay harness, but for the amount of money that you have to invest off the get-go, you're gonna have to buy spools of wire. You know, red and black minimum. So that way you can do it, and you're gonna have to use a few different gauges, so you're gonna have a few different spools. They're actually, Rigid sells a relay harness for $15. It's like one of the things that they do sell that's really inexpensive, and it has an awesome tactile switch that has a bellow around it to keep dust out of it. When it turns on, it lights up red, so you know it's on. It's actually really, really good. Something that I use for any sort of electrical stuff that I know requires a relay. So it's just something that I buy. I spend the $15 instead of, you know, I do have a supply of stuff, like depending on, like when I wired up my fuel pump relay, I didn't use one of those, but for like lighting and my air horn kit, I did use their relay kit. So I'll show y'all all that in a different video. But let's go test the differences between the $37 light bar or light pod and a $250 one. Well guys, as far as brightness goes, they're pretty on par with those Rigid light pods. They say that it is 12,000 lumens, and they said that the actual brightness of these is supposed to be 6,000 K, which if you know anything about HIDs and stuff like that, even LEDs are rated like that. 6,000 K is supposed to be white light. I did notice a blue tint to them, but I would say for $37 for two 7-inch LED spot floodlights, that's a really, really good deal. And another cool thing that this company has offered is they have offered a discount code. I'm gonna put a link in the description to where you can actually go to purchase these lights, and I'm going to put right above it, I'll put the actual discount code that you will put whenever you're going to check out. you'll actually, I had to go look at it because I've never ever used the discount code, so I was like, man, where do you even like apply the discount code? But you'll add it to cart, you'll go to cart, you'll go like you're going to pay, but before you pay, like pretty much the screen right before you pay, there's an option to add a discount code. The discount code will be in the description of this video above the link to where you go to buy these on Amazon, and you can put them in, and that discount code is for 20% off, and it will be good until January 31st. But also something that's really cool that I noticed about that discount code is it works on all of their products, not just these 7-inch LEDs. So if you're in the market for lights, or if you've been debating, you've just seen the brightness of these compared to the rigid, I've shown you what you can expect just from aluminum powder coated housings. It doesn't matter, you spend $250, spend $37. I don't know if these are gonna chip. I don't know because I haven't put them on the road, but my guess is if a pair of $250 lights are gonna do it, cheaper ones are gonna do it. It's just not something that you're going to avoid. But I wanna thank you for watching my video. If it was content that you enjoyed, be sure to smash that like button, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see what I've got going on in one of 2 shops, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.